All right, guys, what's up? What's up? Happy Monday. Let's get this week started. I appreciate you guys for the patience. We are ready to roll. If you guys want to let your trading squad know that we're live, let's dive into it. Yeah. All right. So thanks for joining. We have. If you guys aren't in our free community, definitely go check that out. We have so many resources in there so that you can make your next 5K trading with totally for free. Just using your resources, being diligent, locking in. So let's make it happen. Let's do it. All right, so let me get my screen going here. Let's take a look at the markets. I'd say it's been a pretty busy session already since the open. So let's dive in here. Okay. What's good with this? All right, hold on 1 second. All right, 1 second, guys. Why is it doing this? All right, meanwhile, I get this figured out. If you guys want to, like and subscribe and all that good stuff, feel free. Okay, here we go. Game time. All right, so I have a couple things I'm looking at here. And gonna compare this between, the usual. So taking a look at what we have going on this week, I will say on paper it looks like it's gonna be a slower week if we're just looking at fundamentals. Today, no dollar news, so we will have some New York Open action. Everything else outside of that is, I guess, quote unquote, unpredictable. Same thing with Tuesday. So just markets opening, that'll be some volatility, and then from there, it's kind of a unexpected timing. We then have, but tomorrow though, I will say, for those of you that like to trade different types of currencies, Canadian dollar has CPI, so this could be an exciting volatile session for CAD, and then NZD has interest rates. So again, this also can be a very volatile session, worth taking a look at and analyzing the market. So we can definitely take a look at things over there. Same thing goes on Wednesday. So if you're a London session trader, CPI for GBP, that should be exciting. And then this is everyone reads FOMC and then they get excited, but FOMC meeting minutes, in my opinion, pretty much doesn't do anything. Like, it's usually very underwhelming. So, nothing I'm looking forward to too much there. Thursday, we start to get more London session action here, followed by unemployment claims, New York Open, and then flash manufacturing. So this should be a fun day. No, Friday, Powell speaking in Jackson Hole Symposium. These can turn into quite a volatile and eventful day. So on the dollar side, we might be seeing things load up for the end of the week in general. We'll see what's in store for us now. We have New York Open here in 4 minutes, so let's get some perspective here between NASDAQ, Dow Jones, and S&P. See what this market's looking like over here. And funny enough, we got some pretty bearish momentum. It picked up quite a bit with NASDAQ over here. So when the market opened to start the week, we're actually like really slow. Dow is moving up really slowly up to this zone. And then NQ is picking up the speed, the tempo quite a bit over here. So I was actually looking for, I was seeing at one point, okay, are we going to see NQ actually get to the high, Friday's high first? So that's kind of what I was looking at, and I expected that to happen, and it didn't actually. So here, let's see. So from what I noticed over here, take a look at this. Here was the high from New York session on Friday, pokes up and then drops. We don't quite get here. We end up basically making equal highs. So we are seeing lower lows. The market structure is relatively bearish. On Friday, it got down to this level. No demand, so it came back up and then just moved sideways. Worked our way up to start the week. And then this basically makes equal highs. So we got that going on over here. So this is liquidity. So retail sellers enjoying the drop from the Tokyo high. And then basically more sideways movement. So more liquidity in my opinion here. This brings us to Dow Jones. And I will add the Dow is moving up as well, and then starts making lower highs over here. Kind of right where, we start to see the market pick up a little bit of momentum, drop from here. We still have the Tokyo and London lows. If you're noticing, guys, though, we are seeing lower lows. So Dow more bearish for sure already. And I do think that we can get into similar, just like NASDAQ. We may be looking to get up into this range and sell out of Friday's high. So you saw a similar pump to the upside before everything comes crashing down. Now this we can also narrow down a little more. So if we wanted to get into smaller time frames, we definitely could. So check it out over here. And here's what we see happen. We saw New York open right there. A couple minutes beforehand, the market rips, taking out liquidity, comes back down. Dow Jones has already mitigated this zone. So it looks like Dow already played out of this area, and if I remember correctly, NASDAQ definitely has not. So here it looks like this has already been mitigated. I wouldn't think twice about this anymore, about entering again. I'm okay with not doing that. You can tell it played out of there. So now the market's opening. We're seeing Dow Jones immediately start to push to the downside. This is the 15-minute structure. So we have higher low, higher high on the 15 with Dow, with NQ over here. At the moment, going very bullish. There's still this huge zone that I think the market could buy from as well. So it's going to come down to which one's going to play out first. Are we going to see NASDAQ work its way down to here? Or are we going to see something entirely different? Because just so you guys can see, like, NQ's structure is very different to Dow. NQ has already, for example, been trading below these lows here, which Dow hasn't. Dow has staying above this zone over and over and over again. NASDAQ, it broke through on Friday. Dow chilling. So we're good there. My silver buys from Friday hit my TP. Nice. What's that fire? What's up, cousin? What's up, Hector? Rodrigo? What's good? So, again, right now, all of a sudden, we're already starting to see the market pick up some steam to the upside. All right. So, we're having Dow spike down. I'm going to look at oil right now. I forgot what alert that was. But we had Dow come down a couple, just, right into this little previous 5-minute low. This isn't a place that I was looking to buy or anything. This is a pullback, but no smart money entry for me here. I wouldn't take anything. And London low is over here, so not really. And this is going against the trend, so I'm not really rushing to get into the market or anything. If anything, I believe that NASDAQ can clear the lows from London session and from New York. We have a lot of sideways movement, so there's definitely a lot of liquidity here. And taking a look at the market here for New York or for Dow, you have the Asian highs still that we can clear up here. Probably going to get to this before NQ gets up to here. So I do prefer the Dow buys. So Dow buys as of right now look likely. NQ shorts look good as well. What we can do is let's take a look and see what S&P looks like. Yes already has cleared the lows from New York session from last week. Fridays we got below there. Every time we get below here, the market's losing momentum over and over and over again. So we have London high as liquidity. You have Tokyo high as liquidity. These lows here for London session are holding down. I'm curious because we do have quite a lot of an imbalance over here as well. So ES could want to work its way down here eventually. Right now we're kind of seeing, and this is really interesting, we're seeing very little demand below 64.60, 64.61. So every time it slips under here, it gets eaten right back up. So I'm curious if something similar happens today. So ES doesn't give us the most clarity, at least not yet. We see it kind of break below, come right back up. Now we're going to see a true test, if the market's going to stay bullish on S&P or if it's just taking out London highs to then drop in again. NASDAQ, of course, moving very similarly, pushing up. Now making more higher highs. So this is creating liquidity at the moment. So I'll go check in on this here in a second. I want to go ahead and take a look at oil, this oil alert that just went off. There was an oil. It got into the zone yesterday. I had something marked up, and it just tapped the zone yesterday. I don't know if you guys had seen this. Yeah, so this basically created equal lows again yesterday before coming down into the zone. So I was definitely really curious about what the market could look like, where we're at now, and is there an entry here? Is there a trade here? That's the question. What do you guys think? Is there still worth taking a position where we have the market now? So what really happens here? The market sweeps the low. There's no demand. The market goes up. We see a 15-minute higher high. Can't argue that. How do you guys see this? I think that there's definitely room for a move to the upside. To me, I think we've come into this zone a couple times now. And both times that we got here, it was to make equal lows. So support, more support. We hadn't gotten to the imbalance. There was still this big sell-off that we could reject. So right now, I took a position on this right now, right over here, like as soon as I just walked through this. So my entry was closer to here. And we'll see where we go from here. Now, the only downside, actually, you know what? There is something that I needed to do, and I know I'm realizing this a second too late. But it does come down to this, and okay, so I may have to readjust my thought process here. But basically, the sell-off was right here, and then we do have a new contract. So the market with basically the week open, Asian session open, already came into this zone. So if we're looking at the newest contract here, oh my bad. I'm supposed to have, this is the chart. So if we're looking at the newest contract, during the open of the week, we actually get down to this level. We trade through here, and then the market starts, this does look like the reversal right over here. Now we just dip lower one more time, get back into this zone. So the only other explanation is that here we mitigated the order block. And here we're playing out of the last sell-off. So if I get a bit more specific, because this is what it looks like in the past with oil, we see some sideways movement. The market goes from here, starts to work its way down. We get another doji. From here, we get one more push down sideways, and then the market rallies. So I absolutely understand if you're not going to trade this after looking at the current market conditions. You could argue that we had already mitigated here with the open, and that this here would be playing another role. So if you did happen to just take a position already, like off the rip, then I will add moving stops already makes sense, just adjusting. We're getting a good reaction. So if you did happen to take this and moving your stops, I think to the newest low are very much valid. Now the question becomes, now it's about where do you take your exit on a trade like this. So let's see if there's demand here. And then the first exit, if you want to make it the easiest intraday trade of your life, it's just take it into within the risk reward here. So within the intraday, if you just take it literally to the drop, so you know it's sold off. If you just take it to this imbalance, this gives you over a 2R, and you have a pretty good chance of making something out of this. Now, not to say that that's if you got here. Obviously, if you got in a little higher, then you do have to hold this a little bit further out, and that's also fine because taking out the previous London or session highs and lows is a pretty typical intraday place to take a trade. And then on top of that, the market has been moving relatively sideways for a while. So if I'm just looking at this and we're building up, we've seen a buildup of so much liquidity here. So you just have, trend line, liquidity buildup. You have the lower low, the lower highs, which are, just to give you guys some perspective, we have liquidity here. More sideways movement. The market comes back up. So this has been rebalanced, mitigated, and then this is our previous low. Every time price comes into these levels, the market does not want to trade here. It comes back here, immediate leaves, comes back again, immediately pushes higher. So we're definitely looking at in an environment here where, at least as of now, the market does not look like it wants to trade at these prices. So my stop is already tightened, where I only have a tiny bit amount of potential risk here. The fact that when we get down to this level and we're not really claiming lower lows, it loses demand, usually is a sign that the market can reverse pretty strongly. So my opinion is that we take out at least the London high, and that could give us well over a 6R. You have some equal highs right there as well. So yeah, I mean, we'll see it rally from here. The first exit, or I think it's very much high probability, is sitting here at 61.85, and this is oil. For future CLV, new contract. If you're looking at oil on, let's say, CFDs, then yes, this looks like it would have already rebalanced before. So let me just move a couple things here because I do have this on other accounts. So let me move my stop here. All right. Cool. So we'll let this thing just do its thing. In the meantime, what are we seeing? So look at this. NASDAQ created liquidity, created equal highs, market tanks, fills the imbalance. Dow Jones, what are you doing? So Dow, YM over here, pushes down. So gets down to these levels. Okay. We definitely have liquidity here too. So not just do we have the Tokyo highs, but we have trendline liquidity. So the market can definitely clear this. And then when it works its way down, Dow gets to here. We see nice equal lows. We'll still have London's low over here as well. So at the moment, Dow is a bit more bullish. Still pushing above here. Right before New York opens, we see these highs. So it looks like it's going to want to clear that. On top of that, so right now, if the market continues like this, we may be in position to short NASDAQ over here. Obviously, it'll take some time, But everything else I'm not really interested in. This is an imbalance. So yes, we have a fair value gap right here. Okay. I don't have a trade here though. There's not really like a move that I would want to take here. It's a very small move up. Then the market starts to work its way down. The only difference would be if it just came up. If we saw, let's say, NQ clear the highs here, and then immediately lose momentum, and we see more so bearish demand, then sure, then maybe we could see a short out of here or something like that. Otherwise, I think we're getting all the way up to here. And then the timing of both of these is going to be really important as well. So I would want to have, let's say, Dow make like clear liquidity up here before. If there's going to be any kind of shorts, then, and we need, price action to confirm it, I would want to see at least Dow take out liquidity and then see if we get anything. But that's about it. So we'll see. We'll see what the market wants to show us. Dow pushing bullish, NQ pushing bullish, S&P also already starting to fill some of this imbalance as we talked about. Going to the 1 minute to get a bit more confirmation. The 1 minute, I guess, does show this little pump up a little bit better. Here we see some sideways movement. NQ make one move up. Like right over here. So, could this be worth the short? That is the question. Is it worth taking a position here? A little bit of a trend line, but nothing crazy. Maybe. I say that if Dow takes out these highs, takes out Tokyo highs, let's say it's just trading somewhere up here, and we have something like S&P, because you can see S&P is already starting to get into the imbalance, probably wanting to trade up here as well. So depending on how everything's lining up, may or may not look for a position on that NQ here on shorting. I'm not 100% on this yet. I would only take this if everything else is in alignment. Like Dow just blasted through highs and S&P as well. So for now, taking some time, waiting it out. We got oil kind of holding things down, still pushing further. So what does this mean for crypto? Because we've seen very, very bearish moves. And if you guys remember what I was talking about Bitcoin on Friday, when the market came back down on Thursday and then struggled to stay higher, I said it, look, we're seeing bearish on the 1 hour. And that's okay. That's totally fine if that's what's going to happen. Then we could start looking for shorts. So there is still this selling opportunity, I'd say, over here. For buying, I'm not in any buys yet. We did see a decent drop over here, so we're definitely filling imbalances, doing all that good stuff with Bitcoin. We've already mitigated up here. Doesn't seem like it wants to hold these highs either. From there, if we take a look at, what's going on with ETH, this will give you a good indication as well. ETH, of course, working its way down. rejecting this little sell-off, making its move up here. But Ethereum definitely has more room to drop. Like it's got imbalances over and over again. So we might be seeing the pullback that we haven't really gotten. So I wouldn't be surprised if we still keep going and working our way down. Let's see at what pace. Honestly, I'm kind of waiting for brand new structure to take anything here, to make any moves. So, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if we start seeing a shift. Honestly, what I could see happen is we briefly break the 4-hour low, and this will really create some panic, and then make the move. So, do I think Bitcoin and do I think the bull run is over? No, that I do not think. Not by a long shot. There's other factors that we still have into consideration: crypto dominance, overall USDT. So the journey continues. Okay, while we're waiting on more information there, quick update here. So Dow took out London highs and then is bleeding down. So we did see a good rebalance with Dow Jones over here. We see NASDAQ starting to bleed out right now. So look at this. So we saw NQ take out the high here by a couple points. Melt. Come back up here again. Drop. Come back up here again. Drop. So NASDAQ's been very bearish off the rip here. We break below a lot of this, last few hours worth of liquidity. So we take out these lows. We play red over here. So we're still trading inside of this consolidation. Several hours worth of buyers do get taken out with this push down with NASDAQ. However, I won't go ahead and say that it's over. I think we can go even further. So I'm going to wait out on this. Nothing that I'm looking to do quite yet. NQ right now seems to be pushing relatively strongly to the downside here. If we take a look at S&P, similarly, S&P clears some great highs, feels imbalance, is now working its way down. So yes, very similar in its movement as NQ. Not as bearish. We still have all of this. This is a lot of liquidity here. Just buyers and buyers and buyers. So tons of this. So I do think we're going to end up clearing all of that. What I could see, depending on what happens here, if we keep pushing further down with NQ, honestly, we might be in the market for a sell. We see a nice, so here we had some equal highs. We see one more push to the upside before it comes melting down. So if these are the key things, this, I don't know why, but the ifs for some reason don't get heard. If we get more demand down here, then then this could give this validation and we could see a short. But we would need this happening. If this doesn't happen, then there's nothing to do here. Meanwhile, look, we're seeing Dow is still pushing further down. So we had Dow clear the highs. Dow clears the highs over here. So you see a huge move to the upside. The market's not crashing down. This is where, again, we could also start to see a potential sell on Dow. So what we want to do is wait. We want the market to show us more proof, more data. Because just like Dow Jones is doing this, we're going to notice S&P do something similar as well. Somewhere in the middle between all of this, you see the similar momentum, pushes up, clears the highs. Now this is starting to create a floor, some support here. So let's see it make its way through. So we'll keep waiting here to have further context. Let the trade develop. Let's let the market prove itself to us. We don't need to do anything else outside of that. Don't rush it. There's no need to rush this thing. So I'm going to set alerts here. If it starts to break below, then this will give us better confirmation. Same thing here. All right. Now, giving that some time to do its thing, let's start looking at the futures. All right, let's look at majors here. Looking at Australian had a nice pump up here on Wednesday before the market started to work its way down. Worked its way all the way down to here. We could argue this is borderline equal lows. So this right away makes me hesitate buying anything anyways. I know it's approaching this area. How does it look about 6B? So 6B is dropping at a very slow pace. So this further confirms that it would have to pull back way more to sell up here. So this gives us better confirmations for Australian futures, for AUD USD, for a short. Whereas with 6Bs, the pound here, not so much. Okay. So quick update here with Dow. Breaking below the lows here. Pushing very bearish. NASDAQ similarly. Making those moves. Here was during the London session, we see a big spike down. Huge spike down, comes right back up. So there is a chance, thank you, that we get a sell play out of here. There's a chance. We came right into this zone like right off the open, but didn't really feel imbalanced or anything. So there's an opportunity that the market really rejects this area. Now you're starting to play with a little bit of that's a little dangerous, only because we still have these London session lows. In this zone too. So the market could still want to clear London's lows and trade into this extreme, which is just like, the lows from Thursday. We have this 15-minute structure. So playing into here, I'd say a little sketchy. Playing within the range from London session. So not my favorite way to do this, especially if we've been just trending bearish for the last couple days. So I'd rather not take a position here, because on top of that, we didn't really take out too much liquidity here. So yes, there was a good spike down. So you see that spike to the downside. But this in itself was kind of an imbalance. Comes down, comes right back up. So I'm going to stay away from this and just shoot to aim for the one on the outside. And Q here just traded down where we see the low from New York. So we're still building up more liquidity. So now there's still incentive to go further down with NASDAQ, which to me looks like there's incentive for the market to go down with Dow. Dow Jones also isn't reacting as aggressively. Look how NQ popped up. Dow still trading relatively low over here. So I'm going to hold off. This is keeping in consideration what's happening around us here, where there's liquidity. So that's my take right now on this. Pound, not looking to do anything. No trades for me there. Similar to, so you can see, look at Canadian futures. So this is like, if you look at USD CAD, it's going to be kind of the opposite. But we had a nice sweep to the upside here Wednesday during Asian session. Similar with Australian. So going to keep my eye out between selling Australian or selling Canadian here. Definitely got my eyes out for that. So one or the other here look good. Let's see which one wants to give us a good setup. Okay, so update with NASDAQ starting to just go crazy to the upside. So I would not sell here. That's my take. Seeing how bullish it is right now, I'm not going to sell here. It's heading to the upside way faster, more strongly than Dow. Dow's still trading down here, and Q's way up here. And honestly, I think it might actually look to take out these London highs. So, gonna stay cool here. Stay out of the trade. And as you guys know, like, think about how many. If you think about my streams and just how much can look enticing, but isn't quite the setup. You'll see, I choose to say no to a lot of enticement in the market, where it's like almost a setup, but it's missing a couple confirmations, where it's almost a setup, but we didn't really get the structure to hold. So if you notice, if there's anything you can take away, is we don't go for low-hanging fruit. We don't go for low-quality opportunities here. We let the market confirm, and then we make a decision. If the market doesn't give us everything we need, then we have no business putting our money at risk in the market. Okay. So to continue with the majors, Australian or Canadian look good for shorts. What I'll do is I'll start to write it out for us here. I will, before I do that, guys, make sure you're diving into all the value we have here. Like in the classroom, in our community, we have the Launchpad, we have the Smart Money Playbook. We're live every day. There's the Vault, where we have 10 years of value that gets unlocked every couple weeks here. New videos from the past, so you guys have access to even more. And then, of course, if you want way more hands-on work, getting together, going through an entirely different development process where you're focused on consciously developing the psychological aspects. So if you struggle to qualify your setups and you're kind of impulsively looking to get into the market all the time and you're struggling with that, that's what we go over in the syndicate. If you don't If you can't figure out how to build your system and have your exact confirmations, that's what we're doing in the syndicate. And we get together on top of that, on top of the week by week course, because every week you have 3 lessons. We do get together 3 times a week and audit trades, go through the process, get some feedback, walk through real-time scenarios and situations that we are in that you're going through. So if you guys aren't taking advantage of those things, if you're not in the community, get in the community, the free community. And if you know you got to go next level and you want even more and accelerate your process, then definitely make sure to apply to the syndicate. So free community on the left side. Schedule a call. We'll see if it's the right fit. So apply on the right side. So you guys have these both here. I'll leave these just for a couple seconds before we get back to the charts. All you got to do is a quick little scan and it's game time. All right. Cool. So where are we at? Okay. So first thing I'm going to send here is the short for Australian here. So let me get this marked up. All right. So yeah, that's more so. I'm more focused on the sell than the buy. The buy. I'm going to delete this. I'm not going to look to buy this. So let me just actually get a new chart. So this is 1. And then we have 6C. Canadian here. Very bearish. Holding it down. Not sure where we get to first, if we come up or if we drop. This buy is only... Honestly, I don't even think I'd take this right now. Just because this is a much more bearish setup than anything else. So I think I'd rather stay patient. So this is CAD. If you're trading CFDs, then USD CAD is going to be flipped. So you're going to see the spike down, and then right now you're trading up here. So just so you know. Also, quick update with oil. It looks like we dropped back down. So after it did something like this, we spiked down. We traded up here sideways for about 30 minutes. Now it's poking back down to here. So this to me looks like it would be a shakeout type of setup. And so it would lure in sellers one more time before it goes higher. So if that is the case, if we do see a nice push up here right now, then moving stops from the low to your entry would make sense. Or if you want to just play it super conservative, then move your stop to entry, then obviously be my guest. Okay, Euro definitely more bullish than the rest of them. Not dropping down significantly. We got some liquidity over here. I don't really have a setup with Euro. There is, one of you guys sent a pretty good chart, and it was looking to sell out of this. So we see Friday, July 25th going into Sunday, July 27th. We do see the market kind of gap up. It does move sideways, builds liquidity, and then drops. But I could see a setup over here. I'm not taking anything, but I understand why some of you would want to. Okay, so what did we get? We did get the mitigation, guys, out of this zone. So plays right out of those Tokyo lows. Decides not to break below the London low. And it does mitigate this sell-off right here. So we're seeing the rejection to the upside. The fact that we saw NQ kind of build up first and pump first actually got me out of this idea. I would have preferred to see Dow kind of get to the zone last and then make its move. So unfortunately, missing out on this. And then same thing with the short on Dow Jones. We don't really trade down here for very long. So I'm not fully convinced that this is going to be a sell opportunity for me. So right now, yeah, still just not going to be in the market. What I will add is now that we cleared these lows, right? We cleared liquidity here. We played into this imbalance from London. If we do stay trading up here, then I could see us looking for another buy somewhere over here. But I would want to see Dow give us more confirmation. So despite marking this up, and here we had where we had support from Asian session, I felt like we started to see NQ run first and faster. So no trade for me yet, but that's okay, because if we do maintain highs, whether it's higher highs or we just keep trading up here, then we could still have something interesting later on. So not necessarily in a rush. Right now, so that alert that you just saw, that was the Australian getting to that zone. So this, I think someone sent this to me last week. So this was the spike down on AUD. The market's getting into this level. Great. The problem with that is I just think we have other things that can go further down too. We had the yen get to this zone as well, already mitigated here. NZD, similar. So just to give you guys the right perspective, this was the drop. Basically, this is the move. Downside, you have liquidity. But this was from Thursday's Asian session. Thursday Asian session. Still in balance over here for Euro. Yen already took that out. And NZD not quite down here yet either. And then Swiss franc didn't really have that option. So I'm staying out of this trade. It feels like we could keep pushing further down with other ideas still. So I'm chilling. What's also looks like could be developing a different trade, another trade, is CAD. CAD takes out these highs again. So we had resistance building up over here, some sideways movement from last week, Friday New York session, and then right now we see CAD during London. We see this pump to the upside before it drops. So if this keeps selling off, this could be another area for sells. Yeah, so that's how things are looking as far as the markets go here with the majors. Now going over to metals. Metals over here. We had gold on New York Open sell off. So New York Open basically right there. A little bit after New York Open, but we see a big spike down. The market comes flying back up, takes out the highs just for it to lose momentum right away. So a setup like this, on paper, I think it looks fine. But so the market gets above. Is this bullish structure? It makes a higher high, but is this bullish structure? That's the question. It drops down into the imbalance. So we play into some of the imbalance over here. Okay. Can we go further down? Absolutely. There's more imbalance. The market spiked down here as well. So what I don't love about this move is the fact that, to me, it looks like we clear liquidity here. Get above, come right back down. Try to get above it again, come right back down. So for this looks like a failed creation of structure, and it worked its way down to here. Now we could take a look at silver. Maybe silver looks a little bit more appealing. Silver holding structure significantly better. We see it plays into the zone where it sells off, then starts to make a high, comes down again, then rips. So I would rather, and then again, look at the timing of this movement. Silver takes out these lows. So we see a nice push to the downside and the rally. So silver plays, these make a lot more sense. So if we take out these lows, I'm going to actually place 2 alerts. So if we start to work our way down, so look, silver, Sunday, about an hour after the market opens here for metals. Look at gold. Here we go. Gold, same timing. Get to right here. It's the same movements, except that gold is pushing down at a faster pace right now. Silver's the one, in my opinion. Okay, let's zoom out. Is silver already relatively efficient? Imbalances, mitigation, everything looks pretty solid. Only thing is the one way down here. And even then, I'm cool with giving that a bit of time. So a setup like this with silver, if this happens, then I think we can get, a play like right out of here. And then since we saw a nice sweep to the upside and everything dropped, I'd say probably exiting within this range makes a lot of sense. Here's where we saw huge move to the upside before everything starts to work its way lower. Here's where we're getting bearish structure, lower lows, lower highs. So trading in within this range makes a lot of sense. The first place it might want to it could reject is here, and even then you're still looking at over a 1.5 R. Once we start getting up into where the market starts to push higher, this is where you could start to get other areas of exits. So even then, a 2.65 R, still solid. And if we come back up here and it takes way longer, then we might have a better risk reward. So here's silver. Let me go ahead and just share this already. You guys, if you have any charts, you can go ahead and drop them below in this post. Okay, so quick update with oil for those of you that are in the oil play. Like I mentioned, I think we saw the break. Here's the break and retest. The market, this lures in more sellers. This looked like a shakeout to me. So then from here, looks like we just got to this little order block. We're starting to push up again. So moving stops at least to entry, if not to this low, makes sense to me. Anyone in oil, let me know if you took an oil trade. Keep me in the loop here. Got an oil shakeout. Nice. Did you start scaling on a Celsius? Yes. We in there. Okay, cool. In there. I'm waiting for oil to get down to 58. All right, cool. Oil, so if we zoom out, now obviously this is the new contract. So here, we're not going to get the same context getting down to 58, but I definitely see the setup. So this is the setup that I believe Mr. Matthew West is looking for. Looking for a nice play out of here somewhere. Now, I don't know what you're trading, if you're trading CFDs or futures, so 58 may not be the same 58 that I see. But here we have a good amount of support, liquidity building up. Then we see this smart money sell-off. So orchestrated sells from there, then the market rips. So if I'm just looking at the 4 hour, not even going too in-depth, then this looks like a good swing opportunity to me. Obviously, we don't really know exactly when we would get over here. So, yeah, if you're looking at CLV current contracts, then I like 58.75 at least. Now, if we started to zoom in a little more, so let's get into the details of this zone. I think Seth, you were the one that was kind of showing me more on this one too. So yeah, we start to sell off aggressively here, get a little bounce, come back down again, bounce. So we start building up more support. Then we get another drop down before this thing then rips. So this right there, this looks like is going to be the best case scenario on the entry. So 58.66 and under. I like 58 is, you're a savage. That's a tight stop. Obviously the further down you want it to go, the less likely it is that it happens. Not that it can't, still definitely could. So yeah, wish you the best on that. 58 is, that risk reward would be absolutely epic. So yeah, keep me in the loop. We'll see how this one goes. Either way, guys, trade your game. So let me drop this down a little bit. Oh no, not what I wanted to do. Hold on. NQ alert. Let me see what that is exactly. Yeah, so right around here. I like this. This is worth it to me. We'll see how we play this one out. There's still quite a bit to do. But accumulation looks great. But we'll go focus on that a little bit later on. Play some alerts. Right now, the oil trade that that I'm looking at least is more intraday. And then I think we could trade. We already are at the extremes on the day, taking out the lows, London and Asian session lows, right? Mitigating, all that good stuff. So trading within the day is very much a responsible thing to do here. Don't need to go for all of this. So exits within this are more than fine, high probability. Moving Wick said, mark my words, Mike, this will be the greatest comeback on this account. Oh, yeah, let's see it. I'm in oil. Thoughts on gold? Okay, I went over gold now. I just finished going through your 2023 Smart Money Bootcamp again yesterday. Fire. Hope you're enjoying that. I feel pretty silly because I found out during that last entry setup Zoom call that I had been managing stops incorrectly. It pays to tune into this stuff consistently. Absolutely. Already in CL. I got triggered in on Sunday open and just got tagged out break even. Okay. Did you end up taking a shakeout or no? Yeah, CLV. Bless you, bless you. Appreciate you guys. Silver buys are active. We have officially started now. Yes, we have. Thank you. All right. Hello, everyone. I see y'all. What's up, Dallas? Morning. What's up? What's up, Kevo? Good to have you on, man. All right. So what are we noticing now? We are witnessing a couple different things. We saw liquidity swept for London. I don't love how we basically made equal lows playing into New York. Friday's New York lows. Don't love that at all. But it is what is happening. So right now, in terms of structure, NQ breaking above the highs that it made with New York Open and London highs. So right now we are starting to get above all this liquidity. Definitely possibility for us to push a little bit higher, starting to rebalance over here. So if it wasn't for these lows from New York, then I would say, hey, look, we could get a trade right in here. Down around 23,750. But this, no me gusta. I don't like it. And then back to Dow. Dow here, we talked about possibly shorting in this range, but when we saw lower lows with Dow Jones, we only got below for 6 minutes. So, yeah, like based on my rules, like structure for me is really important. And structure for me is not, oh, look, we just got below for a minute and then it goes right back up. So I'm definitely more, it requires more demand at certain levels for me to be convinced on the market going in certain directions. So even now, right, we just took out these highs, London's highs, and now we're starting to bleed back down. Okay, let's see what happens. No, there's not a buy setup that's valid for me yet. We'd have to get below. We would have made a good trade on this one here, but that's over. Been a seek and destroy kind of day. Yeah, it's just taking out, like these relative lows and highs back and forth and back and forth. So I just don't see a lot of conviction in the market yet. Like there's no true direction. It's like builds liquidity, clears liquidity, makes more, takes out more. So if you happen to be one of those people where you just like trade the extremes, then it is maybe playing out. But I'm all about duplicatable systems and just kind of trading the lows and the highs all the time. And then one thing is to get into the market, another thing is to get out of the market. So, yeah, I'm chilling. I'm cool with just having being an observer, being a fly on the wall with the markets right now. Because one of the things that you don't want is don't let the volatility just lure you into making impulsive decisions. This is a pretty typical moment like that. Even here, like I just said, like out of this zone right over here, we could definitely see a buying opportunity. But what's the issue? The issue is, well, there's liquidity right here. So I don't, and also we didn't really even get any structure whatsoever here. Market blasted up, just died. So we're still not even getting any demand up here. So all of these are speculation. A lot of these are like, oh, yeah, it could. I could see this or I could see that. But, I got absolutely destroyed in today's choppiness. LOL. Yeah, so that's why you just gotta qualify your opportunities. Like, it's gonna entice you. That's the name of the game. You got to know the devil's tricks. So at least that's my perspective. Some of you, maybe you're like, dude, this is money for me. And you have an approach that has your system take advantage of these kind of scenarios. So for me, and that's the thing, like if you know your game, then you're going to be in the market when I'm not in the market. A great trader is the trader that trades his own game or her own game. And you don't have to trade how I trade. Like my goal is not for you guys to be me. It's to get the best you out of you. So right now, seeing a good bounce, and I get it. A lot of demand. There's a lot of support. Market's struggling to break through these levels. I'm not convinced that we're going to stay here, though. So I think we either clear these lows. And so let's prepare for that case. So you always want to be ready for what could happen in the future. So right now, what I still see oil. Hey, oil. Thanks for joining us. All right. Oil just took out the high. If you took a shakeout, you're probably running a good trade. So the second setup that we had today was the shakeout setup here. I didn't take a second one since I was already in. I didn't add to my risk. But that should be a 2R already. So this would have hit a 2R if you took a shakeout entry. Otherwise, if you did not, then I think about 1.65-ish is where it got to. No, I did hit a 2R. Okay, perfect. So 2R on both cases. Corey, you just took a win, got out at a 2R. Perfect. Anyone else? Just take a. This is a very conservative exit on oil. But here we had previous levels of support. Typical, like this is where you can reject. This is not an atypical exit. So at a 2R based off of previous level of support, resistance, yeah, that works really well. I'm still holding my trade, but I definitely understand if you were to close. So depending on how the market moves the rest of the day today, if we end up dropping down, I do have these 15-minute time frame buys over here with Dow leaning on entries right around, like you see how we've seen a lot of key levels of support over here, right in this range. So I like the buys down to here. A lot of key areas right there. How the market moves, if it moves down here, is obviously really important. Otherwise, same thing with NQ. NQ's got some very interesting zones as well. Way over here. We've been squeezing significantly. So this is still within the option to make a massive move. So if you zoom out, you can see that there's tons of imbalance, definitely some key levels for reversals over here in this range. So whether it's going to be Dow for a buy or NQ for a long, I'm still in the market for ideas over here somewhere. Yeah, taking profits at the shakeout high. That's a great idea. I've seen that happen as well. All right. So silver building liquidity. We talked about silver, talked about some of the majors. I know you know I was asked about gold and silver. I decided to opt out of this gold setup. So maybe you guys took this. I did not. This is a decent bounce. However, I think there's more incentive for metals to go lower. Silver still has to rebalance and mitigate. So this has been shared here in the classroom. If you're not in here, here's the shakeout. Let's see. Corey. Nice. Good stuff, man. And if everything that you're watching happen right now, these setups, these entries, remember, these are in the Smart Money Playbook. All right, so if you want instant access, this goes hard. So check that out. I'll go ahead and I'll drop it here in the I'll go ahead and drop it here. So we got Smart Money Playbook. So if you guys want, then you haven't gone through it, check it out. I just pinned it. And Mike, I've seen a lot of times where the market gives the play before the structure confirmation, either mitigating or playing off imbalance. Would you ever consider that a part of your strategy? I've seen a lot of where the market gives the play before the structure confirmation. Yeah, I think that's the shakeout setup. So this here is, I think, what you're talking about. So for example, the market captures liquidity, so it takes out these lows. It starts to go in one direction. So obviously we haven't seen structure confirm yet. And then what it does is it'll basically lure in. It goes up. So since it just broke the low, typically when you see a break of a low, there's sell stops that get triggered in. But then also when you see the market pull back, especially where we've seen support, this is where break and retest traders get in. So when you say like a break and retest, like we had here, I'm not looking to take the sell on the break and retest. I want sellers to get lured in, take out liquidity like it did here. And then once there's the max, like there's sellers in here, this is where the buy gets taken and then the market goes in this direction. So that's why I said there was, two different type of opportunities here for this trade. Now, context really matters. It's not just any random, move that breaks a low and then, break and retest for a buy. It definitely has to do with liquidity. So in this example, this cleared not just one low, but it had built up liquidity over the course of a week or so, several trading days. So there was a lot of liquidity built up here. So when the market came up as well, the market doesn't just come up and come right back down. It comes up. We trade here for 30 minutes. Then it dips down quickly, takes out all of this consolidation, lures in sellers. From here, the market rips. So yeah, I don't know if this is how you're looking at it, if this is what you meant. Otherwise, yeah, let me know. Give me different examples. You can go ahead and, if you have a different example, share it here in the post, and I can give you my take. All right, so Dow rallying, NQ staying sideways. Yeah, NQ just building up liquidity. Mike, for the indicator that you use for sessions, just for my clarification, I usually look for the setups, the session high, so it gets rated, and then I drop down time frames for entry. Is that fine, so to speak? Yeah. I don't see why not. A lot of times, especially small time frame setups, that's how they play out. Okay, so if you're holding oil and you took the initial trade, now we're playing into a different low over here. So this is where we can sometimes see some traffic. This is already at a 3.35 R. And then you have, if you take the shakeout play, you are sitting at approaching a 4R here. So right around this time is where if you like what you have profits wise, I think it's a great place to to take some profits. Whether you want to take partials or whether you're just looking for a conservative exit. Right now, what we're seeing looks like that could be the case for sure. Now, clearly, we've now moved away from these lows. I don't think that we're gonna really break below anymore. So what I will say is, moving stops into profit. And right now I'm holding this until the London high. That's my current goal. But what I will say is, don't underestimate the power of how much you can collect with your stop profit. Just, you never know. One, you just don't know when this could turn around. Someone could say something, shit goes down. But moving your stops into profit, collecting just a little bit extra, goes a really long way. They add up, trust me. These moments add up. So instead of taking a break even, but you get a quarter R or you get half R, they'll keep stacking. Okay. Beyond metals here. Looking at, so Sol's been very bearish, working its way down. Fantastic. We have, if you're looking at just structure, 1 hour structure, it's in an imbalance. It's in a key zone. I don't think it's going to hold this structure, to be honest with you. There's a lot of liquidity here. And there was also another sell-off down here. So I wouldn't be surprised if we go lower. That's for Sol. So I think Sol we can see back at around 170. ETH has tons of liquidity here. Can definitely clear 41.50. Trade into 41. You have more imbalance down here at 37.50. These numbers were absurd, right? The climb was absolutely epic. Bitcoin did the same thing when it was going to take all-time highs earlier this year. Like, it got really close, and then it got really far away. Everyone lost hope, and then it came up again. So ETH-wise, I think causing this kind of panic before the next leg up is just classic crypto. So classic. Bitcoin, like I said earlier, I think Bitcoin can go. Honestly, like, what I could see is seeing Bitcoin break below 111,900 briefly, cause a little bit of a panic, eat that up, and then we see like a shakeout in the market rally again. So that I could definitely see. I'm still very bullish on crypto in general. Bitcoin dominance here, we did see we're very bearish on Bitcoin dominance now. The daily time frame is bearish. So right now we're like in this imbalance with Bitcoin dominance overall. I think we have a significant amount to still drop. So getting into these 45s, like the altcoins taking over have just a lot that they still have to do. So I'm not necessarily too concerned macro-wise with crypto right at this moment. What I'll say is, if you got some extra coin, then, do your thing. Like, take advantage. If you find your entries, like, buy the tokens that you like. I think it's as simple as that, in my opinion, right now. Like, I wouldn't, at least for me, I'm pretty much not worried. All right, so look at how things are flipping now. Now we're seeing more bearish confirmation on NQ. So, what do we got going on over here? Look at that. Big Mo joins the party. NQ takes out the highs. All right. Builds up some liquidity right here. Leaves tons of imbalance. Excelente. From here, we clear out this move up here. Takes out a bunch of London session traders. So here's where we see the sweep of London highs. Now we're working our way to the lows again. Now we're clearing New York lows. Perfect. Okay. S&P as well. Taking out New York lows. Or taking out the liquidity was building up. Still hasn't taken out London lows though. Okay. Great. So NQ starting to show signs that this can short. This is why, I wasn't forcing anything. Just letting the market let us know what's up. Cool. What does that show us? This right now is giving us clear signs that NASDAQ, S&P are bearish. More bearish than Dow. Dow here, just kind of trading within its range, holding up shop. Just building sideways. Consolidation, liquidity. I think this is setting up for the 15-minute one. I would love to see the market, because right now we're not getting higher highs. We're not getting lower lows. We're just going sideways over and over again with Dow. Yes, we see it pump down here, trade into this little zone. Cool. The market rips, goes right back up to here. And then it, few minutes, it tries to be bullish, fails as well, comes back down. So we're now seeing NASDAQ trading in these lows as well. Got down to here. There's a tiny little order block right there, but way more imbalance it can go play into. It's okay. Keep that in mind. Now, instantly, the market dropped below, clears out the lows, and comes right back up. Okay. So, the chop continues. What do we do with this information? Got to stay organized. Now, excuse me. If the market comes right back up, flying right back up again, because now we've cleared New York lows, London lows. Like, now the sessions have been taken out. Great. We've taken out liquidity. This is clear. Great. If we see Dow rip, so if it comes right back up, again, I'm not going to look to sell here. If we drop back down and we keep trading downwards, then cool. This we can sell. But if this goes up, we're going to see what Dow is also doing, and we might take a position on Dow. So we might be looking at longing indices here shortly. Right now we got a little OB fill. Played right out of that. If we stay trading up here, then this looks like it could become an opportunity here. But only if we keep trading bullish. And if, this also starts trading up. If we start dipping down right away, looks like, see how Dow is starting to push downwards. Then might not be the case. Same thing here with NQ. We sweep liquidity, fantastic. If we start to see the market go up, hold it down, then yeah, I mean, this could definitely be a buying scenario. So let's see. What I wasn't going to do is just take a buy on NQ right away, right here. It'd be a huge stop loss. Like this, I wasn't interested in. And this is still a possibility. Right now, it's more about letting the market give us more clarity. Letting the market prove where it has its demand. So let's give it some time. There you go. Look at that. Okay, and then my final breakdown here is going to be more on what's going on with stocks. Celsius trading above our first exit. So you're looking at right around a 3x if you bought this with me earlier this year. I know some of you responded because I posted this on my story. And I was like, hey, like every time you see a candle Celsius, like just buy the stock. So 3x later. Starbucks, decent pump today. Delta still pushing. Nike climbing slowly. Nothing really too much going on around here with the markets. Etsy a little dip. Intel a little dip. Normal. Had a really big move the other day. CLFD almost in our entry zone. I dropped this in our stocks update. So in the stocks update here, I dropped a huge post. So go ahead and check this one out. Massive post on active investments, some that are in entry zones, and some that are still pending. So like Lululemon, almost there, and then CLFD. And then Dollar General, I did exit fully. Let's see, ENPH, still pushing a little bit today, gapped up a little bit. Let's see where we at. Webull climbing up a little bit more now today as well. So Webull up about 20-30%. And then Kyndryl, this one's still in entry zone. KD. If you guys want more on that, just go ahead and check out the post later on. I just wanted to give you guys a quick take. Okay. All right, so where are we at? Where are we at, folks? Where are we at? As of now, more and more proof is starting to show. So the question becomes, are you going to long NQ after a pullback? Or is Dow going to be the one that gives the green light on this setup? So for me, we're seeing Dow more bullish. So it would make sense to take a buy position on Dow Jones. Despite all of this back and forth, all of this, what's going on over here. So here was that dip down, which is what I marked up here. Ideally, it takes time. Ideally, we just chop up here for a bit, and then the market works its way down. Where does that leave NQ? I'm not sure. We'll see what price action looks like. But yeah, longing indices, especially if we stay, trading up here for the next 10 minutes, sounds like a good opportunity here. So let's let it do its thing. Yeah, I'll go ahead and I'll share like once we have a bit more. I'm gonna wrap this up. I've been here for like almost 2 hours, but yeah, I know we started a little bit later, so more like probably like hour 45. But guys, great session. Great session. Oil traded into this range. You had 3R opportunities. You know, this is a great profit zone. Could it go higher? Sure. But either way, great place to take some money off the table on the setup, whether it was the first one, whether it was the shakeout. So there was really two opportunities overall. So well done, everybody. The chat here. Let me see some W's in the chat if you made some money today, if you learned something. Then time-based liquidity is key. Yeah, fire zones. Enlightening session. Appreciate you guys. That's love right there. W's. Let's go. All right, guys. If that's the case, if you're getting some W's, make sure you're in our community. Free community, public community. Our goal, and I want you guys to keep up with this. Our goal is for you to, make your next 5K with us for free, 100% using the resources, getting your system down, getting your psychology down, showing up on these sessions. And then for those of you that, you want more value, more in-depth, more hands-on work, and run that through a hyperbolic time chamber, then consider learning more about our syndicate. It's for the committed. It's for those that already passed the, you're not just dabbling. Oh, let me see that. What's that forex thing about? It's like it's just you're here to do this for a good time and a long time. Consider the syndicate on the right. Check that out. If you guys are looking to get dripped out and look amazing, then check out some of the merch we got going on here. We have some fresh fits, new fits coming out here soon as well. So it's the trader's uniform. So you can go ahead and scan that, check that out. And at this point, this is basically final call. But next month, we're about 3 to 4 weeks out from our traders retreat in Cartagena, Colombia. So you can find more info on that there as well. So appreciate you guys for being on, taking advantage of your resources. We like to say all the time that it doesn't have to it's never about a lack of resources. It's about a lack of resourcefulness. So take advantage of everything that you have here, all that you have access to. And don't play games. Make this happen, right? No excuses. So if you enjoyed the session, like and subscribe. And we'll see you guys again. We'll be here tomorrow. Same time, same place. Take care, guys. Catch you on the next one.